I was wrong. I was wrong about Manchester United, potentially. Okay, I'm man enough to admit that at least I spoke too soon about Manchester United because I said that they are in big trouble because this transfer window just doesn't seem complete. And it didn't seem like they have the ambition that they once had to be an elite team in this world. Because even though they've spent money over the past few years, it's been on players like Antony. All right, and Jadon Sancho, who they obviously just do not get along with. And they spend this money here and there, but it doesn't really feel like it doesn't fill the void. It doesn't fill the gaps that they need to fill. They don't have the depth defensively to compete in multiple competitions at once, and they don't have a starting 11 that can come out and give Manchester City and Arsenal a run for their money in the league, or even Liverpool, despite the transition between manager to Arne Slot. Maybe they suck too this year, but Manchester United just looked like they were going to settle for 6th to 8th place once again this season. And that's what I said. I came out here and I said all that about Manchester United, and then just days later, Erik ten Hag and Manchester United's ownership just decided to pull the rug out from under my feet and make me look completely silly. And I deserve it. I deserve the hate comments. I deserve being clowned on because I said that Manchester United had no chance. But now, I might change my mind. And even though I don't think that Manchester United are going to win the league this year, having them in the conversation is not as far-fetched as it once was. Because they've gone out and they've signed De Ligt and Nasser Mazraoui in the exact same move. Bayern have picked up De Ligt for 45 million plus a 5 million fee, and then 15 million plus a 5 million add-on for Mazraoui. And it's not a terrible deal. It's not like they're spending 90 million on him like they did Harry Maguire, whatever it was. They've definitely gotten an okay deal here. Now, a lot of people still think it's the same Matthijs de Ligt that had all of the hype around him as an 18-year-old at Ajax, and after watching him for a season in Bundesliga, he's an above-average center back for sure. But when you compare him to the likes of Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire, I think it is an upgrade. And now that Lisandro Martinez is coming back from injury and they've picked up Mazraoui, I think that this team actually has a chance to compete against some of these better teams. And even after this Community Shield where they had to play Lisandro Martinez at left back, Johnny Evans at center back, and Harry Maguire at center back, they gave Man City a run for their money even with them. And, of course, you can't play like that against every single team. They sat in, hit them on a counterattack. Alejandro Garnacho looked sharp. Amad Diallo looked sharp. Marcus Rashford looks like he should learn Arabic and because he's going to be sent to the Saudi League sometime soon. But most of the forwards looked good. And it just seemed like Manchester United did have a game plan. They were sitting in, they were absorbing the pressure, and they really scared Manchester City. And despite the fact that it might just be a glorified friendly and Manchester City did end up winning that game anyway, it was a promising start for Manchester United, and that's before even these moves have been taking place. De Ligt and Mazraoui are definitely going to add the depth that they need at center back because despite the fact that they signed Lenny Yoro, and that was the most expensive transfer that any team has spent on a transfer during this entire window, which is 62 million euros, he's hurt. He's not even going to be starting the season with Manchester United. And so having De Ligt and having Lisandro Martinez back there, and then you also have Lenny Yoro when he comes back from injury, you've got three absolutely solid center backs, and I'm not going to completely dismiss Harry Maguire. I understand that he's gotten a lot of hate over the last few years, and he's consistently inconsistent, and he's had some spectacular matches. I mean, I still remember watching USA versus England in the World Cup. He was probably the best player on the pitch. So he has his days, and there is value in Harry Maguire, but having him as a starting center back for an entire season is something that is very scary going into the year. And now that they've fixed that issue, I do think that they've locked up this defense. And maybe if they can find a replacement for Casemiro or add some depth in center mid, they actually are an elite team once again. Because once Højlund comes back from injury, you've got Amad Diallo, who looks very sharp, and Garnacho, who I think should be starting over Marcus Rashford going into this season. They do actually look pretty good. There's a lot of promise for this Manchester United side. But they've also got Joshua Zirkzee, who might start at striker for Manchester United going into this first match against Fulham. I'm not sure. Of course, Højlund is still out, but it depends on if he wants to go with Bruno Fernandes as a false nine like he did against Man City in the Community Shield, or if Erik ten Hag wants to go with somebody like Jadon Sancho as a false nine. Maybe they could move Rashford up there, even though Ten Hag has been vocal about the fact that he wants Rashford strictly on the left. He's got some options there, and it'll be interesting to see what he goes with. But they've also gotten rid of some dead weight, like Mason Greenwood, gotten $26 million for him. So, again, I think I mentioned this in the last video. If you need a team to hate watch this season, it's Marseille, the scum of the earth, picking up the scum of the earth. So, screw Marseille. But it's actually looking up for Manchester United. And the fact that they've picked up these guys and made me really, I think it was on purpose that Nasser Mazraoui is shushing me right now. But they've also gone out and extended the contract for Bruno Fernandes. And Bruno Fernandes, even though a lot of people call him a rat, a lot of people call him overrated, a lot of people really hate on him, I think he's one of the best players in the Premier League. And I think he's the most important piece to this Manchester United side. He's got a lot of versatility, but on top of that, even though you can see him barking at the referee every now and then, he has a lot of passion, and he is very, very efficient. So with that being said, he puts the ball in the back of the net. He puts the ball at your foot for you to put the ball in the back of the net. And yeah, maybe he's not the traditional captain. He doesn't remind you of Carles Puyol, but he does get the job done. And you know what? I like that extending his contract going into this season is honestly a very, very good sign for Manchester United. It shows us that Erik ten Hag has a plan. It shows us that they have the ambition. It shows us that they do actually want to get back to the top like they once were under Sir Alex Ferguson. It just seems like they've fallen astray ever since then. And one more move is the fact that they have now, after Nasser Mazraoui is joining Manchester United, have sent Aaron Wan-Bissaka to London. He's going to be a West Ham player, which we've actually dropped a video on West Ham already. So it's a big, big week for Manchester United. We'll see how they kick off. It's the first game of the Premier League. Manchester United versus Fulham on Friday. And I think the entire world is going to be watching that because we're all ready for club football to start up again. But that's going to be it for today. I was wrong about Manchester United, and I think they might just be back. Make sure to subscribe to Nitro Charged, and I'll see you in the next one.